Hello everybody, welcome back for another InGear Motorsport live stream. We're coming back for round 3 of our British GT Championship tonight. We're going to be at Donington Park and it's looking very, very wet on track. So you might notice I'm not where I normally am, but Charlotte still is. I'm coming to you live from my hotel room up in Rugby at the moment. So fingers crossed that everything all works as it should do tonight. So I'm Mackenzie. I'll be in the commentary box tonight with Charlotte. How are we doing over the other end now that we're up and running?
Yeah, we're there now. A bit stressful, but we're good. I'm in the hot seat tonight, so I thought I'd put my helmet private place to move yours out of the way. So, yeah. Yeah,
thanks for that. But yeah, so welcome back, everyone. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on the chat and things as we go through tonight, so feel free to keep comments coming in. So following last time out then when Ollie Moss had that stunning victory up against Dominic Stallman, taking the lead on the final sort of closing stages at Silverstone to take the race win, we're back and this time it's our first wet race of the series. If you've not been for one of our live streams before, you've not seen much of the InGear Motorsport channels, let's just take a very quick look at the timing so you know what's coming up for tonight, and then we'll be heading into qualifying very shortly. So the drivers have already begun their qualifying session, and then next up they'll be heading into the 1 hour race, which is part of our newer format, which does have a pit stop involved as well. So that'll be coming up in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes time. We'll be heading into that 1 hour long race. But qualifying, as I say, has just begun. Drivers are out on the track doing that at the moment to determine the grid order for tonight's race. 29 drivers have showed up, so there's a few missing that based on what started the series, but still a very strong grid for tonight. And I think we might as well go ahead and jump straight into the action so we can start seeing what's going on at a very wet and rainy Donington Park. It wouldn't be British GT Championship if we didn't have some severely wet weather at some point.
Yeah, I think it's always good to throw a wet race in there as well, doesn't it? It kind of separate who's like the proper drivers versus the ones that just want to drop out because there's a little bit of water on the track. So nice to see that we've got a full grid and all the regulars coming back. And I think we've got some newcomers in here as well today, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't actually see on the screen at the moment, but if our wonderful race director goes towards our current fastest man on track, then...
He actually was. So he was just on Bjorkman, and Bjorkman's just set the fastest lap. Stallman's actually 2 seconds off of him so far, but it's really early into qualifying, so I'm holding out hope that Stallman won't be too far down the pack, will he? He never is.
Yeah, I saw he just changed over on the live stream the way we see the order. So it was Dykes down currently in 6th in the running. I just actually changed, disappeared as I said that, and now I don't know where he's gone. But it was Dykes, who's just joined us for the first time tonight, last minute entry today, and won't be part of the main overall championship, but will be taking part as a guest driver for tonight as we see a car off on the side of the track in the background there. Probably going to see a little bit of that tonight. I know the drivers have had some issues with trying to keep the cars pointing the right direction. It isn't easy driving these cars in the rain, even if you do have the added luxury that it's in the virtual world, so it can only ever go so wrong. But yes, you still obviously want to try and keep the car on the track, pointing in the right direction, and get those lap times in. And throughout the race, it's definitely going to be about consistency tonight and the drivers that keep it on the track. Charlotte, obviously you and I have both raced in a number of races in the rain in the real world. What's different? Why is it so challenging, would you say, for the drivers out there in these sort of conditions?
I think it's being able to read the road, isn't it, and read the track and find that grip. So, you know, once you get your line and you do laps and laps and laps in the dry, you get used to that line, don't you? And you stick to it, and the aim is to never come off of that line. With the wet, though, a line around a corner can be completely opposite to how you'd usually take it. So it's really, really important that these drivers, you know, have a few laps where they're going to experiment as well, you know, try and find the grip and go with it. So sometimes going a little bit wider through the corners, that obviously makes it challenging because people are going to, especially around Donington, there's some really good overtaking opportunities. So it's being able to cover them off and kind of get the balance between going wide and keeping the momentum going as well. And I think that's it, just keeping the momentum going. I don't spin. So stupid, doesn't it? But we see that quite often.
Yeah, easier said than done as well, definitely. So who's your money on tonight? Because actually, although we have got a busy grid, a normal wet weather specialist would be Chrissy Palmer, who isn't able to make it tonight due for a couple of reasons with his he's got a bit of a shoulder injury, and I know his PC's waiting on parts and things like that. So won't be seeing him. He's normally pretty handy in the rain, but yeah, who does that leave us with then?
I think Curran, I think he's always very steady in the rain, isn't he? He doesn't tend to make a mistake, and he just kind of watches it unfold. I'm just looking through the timings now just to see where everyone's at. It's very, very close, considering how wet this is. You've got 3 temps that are covering the top 4 at the moment. So Buchan, is that the correct way now? Have we mastered that one finally?
Buchan, yeah. Not Buchan, as we were probably told by his teammate who didn't know how to say his name.
I tell you who is one to watch in the rain is Neil Kidd.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, I'm going to put my money on. So he's currently running 12th at the moment in qualifying. He always qualifies well, doesn't he? He's always quite steady in qualifying in the sense of he always banging a good result. But in these wet races, he knows exactly how to kind of like pick it off and just watch the drama unfold in front of him. So yeah, he's definitely one to watch, and we'll keep an eye on him throughout the race.
Yeah, another one who almost didn't make it, so pleased that Neil's managed to get on, part of the Sheba Garage team. See Raven over on YouTube supporting D Lewis tonight, so good to see you over there. How are you doing this evening? And anyone else watching, whether it's on Twitch, YouTube or Facebook, do drop us a comment and say hello. Always good to see who's watching and who you're supporting out there. Let us know which drivers you're watching tonight and cheering on. So, speaking of who we're supporting, this is one of our InGear Motorsport drivers currently that Cameron's focusing on, Harry Melvin. And I don't actually know if you know this yet, Charlotte, but he's hungover once again, which actually went quite well last time.
What does he get up to on a Monday?
I think he thinks he's a student.
Well, MB World opens back up tomorrow, so it was his last day of freedom, I guess, really, or last night of freedom.
Yeah, definitely. So I think what I'll ask is race director Ben in the background, if we could go to the in-car view so people can start to get an idea of what it's like taking a GT3 car around this track in the rain.
Can I change my prediction now?
Yeah, go on.
Now that we know he's hungover, my money's on Harry, because he was first round Brands GP a couple of weeks ago. He was lit. It was his race to win, wasn't it? Unfortunately, didn't quite take it, but yeah,
as he has
it seems to work for him. Yeah,
a big handful of opposite lock there on the screen, and again going through Coppice. We come down the back straight then, and then we start to enter what is the newer part of the Donington Park circuit. Extended it to 2.5 miles long now, so it makes it a slightly longer lap, and one of the very popular tracks actually in the UK. I mean, we were lucky to have so many great circuits here. So I'm not sure quite how bad visibility is, because my hotel Wi-Fi is doing its best to give me a clear view of the stream. So I've got that to play with on top of the spray, but you can get an idea as we sit in the cockpit of this Mercedes GT3 car. Just how difficult it is. Imagine trying to pick your markers, your apexes, your turning in points, while you've got spray just coming up on the screen. That was from the back of Arnold Dass's car there, I believe, for the Attack Vector Racing crew in the Aston Martin that Harry's just cleared, and he's going to start his next flying lap. Currently, P2, less than a tenth behind Dykes, who's just joined tonight. And Harry apparently knows Dykes, he told me, so be interesting.
A bit of a cheeky one by him in Discord, wasn't it, earlier? He kind of played that quite cool. So yeah, he joined it this afternoon, didn't he? And he was like, "What times are people doing? I don't want to hold people up." And he's currently running in P1 at the moment, so not a bad opening performance by him there. So we'll keep an eye on him throughout this and see how he's going.
Yeah, it'd be good to see.
So Ian in YouTube has just put, is it a requirement for InGear drivers to be hungover? I don't know, Mackenzie, that's a question for you, sitting as your team boss. Is it?
It's definitely something you get away with in the virtual world of racing, isn't it? But I mean, if he continues to put in the sort of performances that he did last time and the pace he's got so far tonight, I mean, it's early doors, then we might just have to do that.
We might have to start sending him packages of gin bottles and things like that over to see how it goes.
Maybe it's not Monster Energy sponsorship we're looking for. We need to get Harry a alcohol-based brand of some sort. But I'm sure race director will be still touting for Monster back in the background there. We know what Ben's like. It's actually so new that Dykes has joined. I just want to check that it is Lewis before I start saying it.
Yeah, it is Lewis. Yeah. Yeah, so just looking across the whole grid, so 24 out of the 29 cars, or 28 cars, I think we've had one drop out now, have set a lap, and we have got 4 minutes to go. So playing it fine, I would have a banker lap in by now. If I had the choice myself, and I think we see this quite early on, that people put in a banker lap just to know that they've got one in there, and then they start to really push. So yeah, 3 cars. Max Spooner hasn't put a lap in, which surprises me, so we need to wait for those to come in. But actually across the whole grid in the weather like this, we've got 5 seconds from first or pole to P24. In this weather, that's not bad going, is it? That's quite a tight grid.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice. People will be fairly close. I mean, that does mean running close together in spray.
Yeah.
So I think incidents are almost inevitable in them type of conditions. That it's just going to get a little bit too, especially around Donington as well. I mean, you go a little bit wide, and half the time you're on the grass, which anyone that's driven will be able to tell you, in the real world or not, it's like putting your wheels on ice. The car just catapults itself towards the barriers very quickly. Hello, Warren, over on YouTube. Just seeing you popped up as well. Good to see you. Yeah, cheering on Kirk, I'm sure, as always. Hopefully, it was VR issues last time, wasn't it? Sorry, Charlotte, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, fingers crossed his VR plays ball this evening, so we shall see. Kirk's due a good race, isn't he? Like, he's due a really good result, so fingers crossed for him.
He's had some newfound pace for a while now.
Yeah. Currently running in P12 at the moment, P16, but I think qualifying is obviously very, very important, always is, but I think in the rain you can make up some serious ground very, very quickly, can't you, with drivers making errors. So the key to this is just keeping it on the track.
Yeah, it's going to be so important. Hello, Paulina, over on Twitch. Good to see you again. How are you doing this week? What's new in the world of Paulina? And how's Danny doing? Has Danny made it in yet? I know sometimes he's a bit of a late joiner into these. Trying to see from my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, should we drop the camera onto him for a minute? So he's currently running in P10, so Mr. Race Control. And it's probably worth us noting. Oh, sorry. Okay, he's in the pits. We won't be doing
staying
that
in the dry at the minute.
We've got Ben back with us in race control today, and we have got George in the background. So we're going to try and work on the replays this evening as well. So fingers and toes crossed that they're going to work. But keep an eye on our social media channels, because George is very good at firing up these replays quite quickly, isn't he? So always good to get the opinions on spins, accidents, dramas that happen, which I think is probably going to be a bit inevitable. Our race in the rain at Donington. Yeah.
So if you're just joining us then, everybody, it's the final minute of qualifying. A number of drivers are still yet to set themselves a lap time to give themselves a grid position. So that will certainly spice things up if there's some cars out of position. At the end of this qualifying session, that gives us our grid order ready for the race, and we'll find out who's starting where. So that'll be coming up very shortly. Don't go anywhere, because this race start in a few minutes' time, once we get to the end of qualifying and start the race, is probably going to be pretty interesting. Yes, Paulina. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so Bjorkman's actually, we've got, like we said, we've got a minute left on the clock, or 30 seconds now. He's actually in the pits, so he's not going for another lap. So it's only a 1/10 of a second that's splitting him and Lewis Dykes up, and actually even less than that between Dykes and Melvin. So this is really, really close for the top 3. So looking forward to the first corner.
Yeah, almost half a second for the top 5, in fact. Just looking, Stallman's only 6/10 off down there. Dominic Stallman got 20 kilograms of ballast, so the drivers that do well in the previous race carry some extra weight. So that is something to think about as well. Some drivers will be doing that. So, final stages of qualifying then. Who is still on a lap? So, Dykes is still out there, potentially going to set a slightly faster lap. We shall see.
Yeah, so I'm just having a little read of the... I don't usually get privy to the in-game chat that's going on, Mackenzie, because the side of the screen that I usually sit on, so I'm enjoying seeing what the guys are saying. So, yeah, just between them, they're having a little gentle word about rejoins on the circuit and things like that. So, all nice so far.
Yeah, I've not seen too many cars off track, although I did just see Lewis had
Yeah.
track, but I don't know if that's because qualifying had ended. But either way, then I think time to jump to a quick ad break for our partners, or also us, InGear Media, who host these events, and we'll be back with you very shortly. Welcome back then, everyone. We're ready and set, ready to start this 60-minute race here at the Leicestershire-based Donington Park circuit. Super wet and rainy tonight, so the drivers have got their work cut out for them, but it's Bjorkman who is returning after missing a race last time out on P1. Dykes joined for the first race tonight, a guest driver who won't technically score points, which will be interesting to throw that into the mix of the equation on P2. Melvin in P3 for InGear Motorsport, which is good to see. Mr. Buckin, not Buchan, the Scot, in P4. Dominic Stallman, our German driver for Vegas Performance, in P5. Mitchell P6. Moss did make it in then in P7, yeah. Good to see. Curran is that in P8. Roland Stallman, the other Vegas Performance driver, in P9. Then Bart down there for Spearhead Race Engineering, who joined a couple races ago as well. Rounds out the top 10. Is that Price in 11th, I can see, as my pixelated screen goes through. Corbin, yeah. Then Massey, Stuart French. One of the drivers carrying ballast tonight as well, 10 kilograms after his third place finish last time out. Then we have M. Tyler. I thought it said M. Taylor then. I thought I was doing two things at once. Down in 15th place. Neil Kidd, as you say, not far off the points there then for Shiva Garage in 16. Not far behind Danny as well, who's actually had a strong qualifying. Heath in 17th, Murray in 18th. Definitely a recipe for some fireworks amongst that little pack there. So hopefully they'll get through in the mid-pack in good spot, in good time. Easner after that. Harry Stapleton returns to us as well then in the 20th spot. Renberg 21st. John Kidd 22nd. Spooner did get a time in the end then because he's 23rd on the grid. And then rounding out, we've got Japs, as he's known in Discord, or Wood, down there from there. And I think I'm going to let Charlotte read those last couple out. She's got them because my stream is starting to go a bit pixelated in my hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so we've got D. Lewis in, sorry, my internet cut out, so I didn't hear you then. So I'm going from P26 onwards and hoping that's there or thereabouts. So we've got D. Lewis in P26, Lima in P27, Arnold Das, I'm not even going to try and say that name, in P28, and Sharman is back with us in P29 as they just start off to go on to their rolling start.
Yeah, so that means we're missing Billingham, who joined for the last race and has disappeared again, I would say, in the Bentley. But drivers on their rolling up lap now then, so they get to do this one lap, basically not racing, just to warm the tyres, get used to the circuit conditions, get themselves in formation. And you'll see once they come around to the last couple corners of the lap, which is actually happening very shortly. In fact, no, they've just set off for their rolling up lap. Once they get back round, then the cars will form up very tight again in 2 abreast formation or 2 by 2, and then the race lights will go out and we'll be underway very, very shortly. So they get this chance just to warm the tyres up, which of course is very important, especially in this type of conditions. Charlotte, any warm-up lap tips or tricks that you tend to see drivers doing to try and get some heat in?
Yeah, I think this is the one where you've got to be really careful in the wet, because you've got to get this, again, you've got to have this balance between getting some heat into those fronts, but not overcooking it. And we see this very often, that people spin on the rolling up lap or the warming up lap, which A, is very embarrassing, but B, an absolute nightmare, because they've actually got to work their way through the pack again. So it's getting the balance, isn't it? Cautious, but hard enough that you're going to generate a little bit of heat.
Yeah, definitely. So, and of course that then helps then coming into turn 1. If you've got hot tyres and you've got hot brakes, you'll have more grip, which is why we're talking about it. That's where it's where it counts, particularly these conditions, is just maintaining temperature, and setups then become important. Tyre pressures become important. There's a whole load of mix of stuff. So we're just coming in then about halfway around the lap. So I say it's 2.5 miles around the Donington circuit. So plenty of time at this sort of speed for the drivers to warm everything up. If they're just joining in, they're not racing yet. This is the warm-up lap. Once we get to the end of that, the lights will go out and we'll be on our way. So you can see Harry Melvin then is the car the camera's kind of focusing on at the moment for InGear Motorsport, number 27 in the sort of black and orange liveried Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-AMG. You've got Bjorkman for Spearhead on the front row in his Audi, and Dykes in the McLaren on the other end of the front row there, the white with yellow accent McLaren. So a nice mix of manufacturers, because there's actually then Bucking in the Lexus in P4, Dominic Stallman in the Aston Martin in P5. So once again, 5 different manufacturers in the top end of this grid. So particularly in the rain, I guess you're going to see that more, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, this is close on timings, very, very close. So this is going to be, I think we need to keep our eyes peeled, and I think Mr. Track Control is going to have to keep a close eye as well in the background.
Here we go then. Lights about to go out any second at Donington Park for round 3. Any moment now, and we're off and racing. So Bjorkman on the right-hand side of the 2 cars going into turn 1, gets the inside line, gets away fairly cleanly. Dykes attempted to go round the outside. Interested to see if he holds that. I think he's going to back out of it. In the outside there. In fact, Dominic Stallman's even potentially going to have a little look in. Well timed for my stream to give itself a bit of a lag there, but we're back on track, so I can see it looks like the top 4 all stayed exactly the same. In fact, no, Stallman did get that move done. So Dominic Stallman in the blue Aston Martin overtakes Bucking in his Lexus to get himself up into P4. Bucking drops back to P5, but otherwise pretty good driving by that top 5. It's the mid-pack where all the spray kicks up that it gets really challenging not to get caught out into turn 1. If you look on the mini-map on the left, you can see there is a couple dots just drop back a little bit. We'll find out from the guys in the background who that is, if anyone that's had any issues. But it looks like there's no dots retired, no dots stopped completely, so everyone is still moving in one way, shape or form. As you're watching tonight, do let us know if you're watching on one in particular, as Melvin gets very close onto the back of Dykes, looking into the chicane about halfway through the lap. Doesn't tend to go for it. That's the Fogger TS's as we go into the newer section of Donington Park, but so far looking so good for the top 5 cars.
Yeah, Bjorkman's actually in certain places, you can see where he's really being able to stretch his legs, and then where he's struggling for grip a little bit. And as we say that, Buchan just spun there in the background, if we can maybe get a view of that.
Yeah,
just
jumped to
see
Buchan.
if that collected anyone. Fingers crossed it didn't. It was one of those annoying slow motion spins, but right on the apex of the corner.
He actually done well there. He just stayed where he was, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of a tricky rejoin there.
Yeah, questionable at the end.
I mean, he was mid-track trying to get going, I guess, so he had to do something.
Yeah, I think we can be pretty happy with this as an opening lap, considering how close this grid is and the range of abilities of different drivers. We've got some really, really fast drivers in this championship, but we've also got some newbies as well, which is great because I think it brings people on a lot faster. So Bjorkman, Dykes and Melvin are actually starting to get a little gap away, but this Dykes-Bjorkman battle, I don't think this is going to be over. I don't think this is going to be a clear runaway.
We just clicked off of it there. I just saw Bucking pulling out onto the inside of Heath. By the way, was it Heath or was it Stallman? It looked like it was pretty high up there.
Stallman.
Not gonna lie, I actually thought I was about to get a knock on my hotel door there for making too much noise.
Yeah, if we can drop down to Heath, let's check in and see how he's doing. So he started in P16 and he's managed to make some progress already. So he's currently running in P14. So get a foot by him. He's starting to chip away. This is an hour-long race as well, so don't forget that. So he's all over this pack of Massey and Stuart French there. So he's going to be biding his time because these two are having a right ding-dong in front of him. So this is that slowly catchy monkey kind of example, isn't it? Oh, and as we say that,
yeah, Massey actually still turned in a little bit there. I don't think he saw that coming. Probably a bit of a racing incident in the sense that no one really came too badly out of that, but Heath will probably be wondering why Massey didn't give a bit more room. So Stuart French, the red Aston Martin in the front of that little pack, is the last points place position at the moment. Of course, we've got 56 minutes on the clock, so a long time to go. But that is the sort of the last place of points where drivers fighting for the championship will be looking to get that. Or in fact, because of Dykes and the way the rules work, it will actually go one further down. So it will be Massey who will be getting the last points place at this point in time. A good time to mention if you're watching, or especially if you're joining for the first time, at about halfway, we open up the chat for people to vote for their favourite driver. Sorry
to just interfere there. So if we head down to car number 18, so P26 from Ben, we just want to have a little look in there just to see the repercussions of Arnold As. There's been a little bit of questionable driving there. So George, I think, is already probably jumping on the replays for us to have a little bit of a look there. And Kidd, I'm just trying to find where he has gone. So he's dropped down to 23rd. So he's had a bit of an incident there. So I'm going to check in with us, and he's all over the back of Sharman now. So he's going to be looking to make up some ground there. So yeah, we'll check in on that incident with Arnold As just to see what's happened on that one. If we drop the camera onto Kidd for us, please, Ben. So he dropped down to P23. He's already clawed himself back up to P21. So he's on a charge here. So he's now chasing down Murray. Murray's in Sheba Garage as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Murray's in Sheba Garage.
Yeah. Yep, so he's not too far from him, so he's going to start to work his way back through the pack there. So we'll have a little look into that as well, just to see.
Yes, we'll review that incident.
There. Yeah.
Potentially even have a go at a replay if we can. If you've been following for a while, then you'll know that they're not always the easiest things to get to work for whatever reason, but we'll see if we can get it to work tonight. Because I think there may well be a few more. As you see two cars going two abreast just to front there. I think that might have been Murray and Eisner. If not, it was Murray and Jay Kidd, just a couple of cars ahead of where we're watching.
Yeah, it's Kidd and Eisner, and as we say that, Eisner just spun there. I think we just managed to get the camera on there just in time. I think John Kidd, that was lucky by him, because unfortunately he does seem to get collected out every now and then, doesn't he, out of no fault of his own.
I think he dodged that bullet.
Yeah, very, very well there. So we've got two kids in here. We've got John Kidd and Neil Kidd, so both part of Sheba Garage, so you can see the team manager on the side of the car there as they go through. Yeah. And actually, we've got a Sheba Garage threesome going on. They're usually 2x2, but we've got Murray's found himself in a kid sandwich here, so we'll see how that one
it's just getting worse.
Out.
Stop now.
Yeah. I didn't even mean it. On that note, let's jump up because these guys will play it pretty safe. There will be in a Discord chat where they'll be talking to one another about space, etc. Let's just head back up to the pointy end of the grid, though. We can see that there's been a change in leader. So Melvin has actually taken the lead over Bjorkman. So his hungover antics are serving him well again. So he's managed to pull out nearly a 2-second gap on Bjorkman. So go on, Harry.
I mean, I just don't get how this works. How can you be hungover and then so fast in the rain as well?
He's like the James Hunt of sim racing, isn't he?
Somehow I think he'd be quite pleased with that that name.
I think anyone would be. Yeah, so he's just got to take full opportunity of this now. Let Bjorkman, Dykes and Stallman all just have the little squabble between themselves and just stretch your legs here. This is a perfect opportunity for him to just crack on with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think perhaps then I can't keep an eye on gaps quite as well as I want with my stream, but any in-car views might be quite good. In fact, the back of Bjorkman's wing would probably look pretty handy.
Yeah.
Race director just has a little sip of Monster, and then away we go onto the rear wing of Bjorkman's car there. So Spearhead Race Engineering, Audi, I should say, looking back at the McLaren of Dykes, who's just joined us tonight for the first time. So really good effort for him on his debut race with InGear Motorsport. Good to see. And presumably, might not have even done a huge amount of testing, or maybe he's been doing it in secret, ready to make a last-minute entry. Who knows? But good result nonetheless so far. And you can see the amount of spray that's getting kicked up, and then in a minute we'll switch to an in-car view and you'll see how difficult it is to actually pick your braking markers and see where you're going. Bearing in mind you're trying to keep a car on a knife edge of grip so you don't go pirouetting off into the gravel, the grass or the barrier. So plenty going on for the guys, but yeah, nice little job up front and still fairly close after 10 minutes nearly of running.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so important to throw these wet races in as well, because it almost sort of evens out the grid a little bit, doesn't it? With it, and it's sort of people that might not normally be out there actually really come and shine in the rain. So, I mean, I personally, I think I used to be better in the wet than I did the dry. Just seeing Stallman there make a little mistake, which is not a common thing. So I think as he was just coming through McLean's and Coppice, he's just run a little bit wide there. Very lucky there to pull that back onto the tarmac. That's not an easy corner to run off and then drag the car back at all. So not often we see him make a mistake, actually, is it?
Yeah, no, very rare. Generally smaller mistakes when he does. So we have a replay to have a little attempt at the minute. So I think this is the incident a little bit further down that we were talking about Arnold Das was involved in. So we'll have a go at playing that now for you and see how it goes. I'm watching this back on my hotel version, so I'm seeing it when you're seeing it, probably a few seconds behind. Perhaps Charlotte will see it as well.
Yeah, I'll see it on YouTube at the same time.
Waiting in anticipation for this one.
Yeah, this is going to go one way or the other, isn't it?
Yeah. Not sure if that's working or not, race director. Oh, there we are.
Yep, here we go, just in time. So this is an in-car view of it, and you can see how. Oh. George, in my ear, can you just let me know, was that Arnold Das who the in-car view is of? I mean, I don't know what you think there, Mackenzie, but it just looks like a person to the back of...
Yeah, he actually loses it under braking. I think he touches the curb under braking, locks up, and then just goes into the back of Neil. Yeah, no, I'll just hear everyone reviewing that. Yeah, he brakes on the curb and then just locks up. Tricky one, that, because you're not going to deliberately cause yourself to have an accident, but that little brake onto the curb, of course, did give Neil a bit of a hard time. So that was well out of points positions actually down there, wasn't it? Is one kind of saving grace, but we'll see if Neil manages to recover and get back up to the higher end of the grid.
Just watching that again, though, what I would say there is that was quite a hard hit in terms of it looked like it was a fast hit. So it looked like there was a little bit of underestimation in how much that car needed to be slowed down going into there. very hard to kind of judge it sort of as quickly as what we are here. But yeah, I think I won't be too happy with that one.
I've just seen as Lewis Eswood's team boss on YouTube, it was a last minute change or last minute plan. So good to see. Yeah, what is it? What's his background? Has he played Assetto Corsa Competizione that much, or is he racing other sim racing? I think he said he knows Harry Melvin as well. So about to ask Harry a little bit when I next catch up with him, see how he knows him. It's quite nice actually. There's a few drivers kind of bringing their friends in and getting involved, and you know, wasn't that long ago we had probably half the grid that we get now. So it's so nice to see these big grids and people watching on chat as well. So yeah, if you are watching a driver tonight, like Lewis's manager there, let us know in chat and we can show you how you're getting on. Probably a good time just to bring the overall standings up for everyone, just to have a little look. And you might have to pick out a couple of names. And you can see the cars running ballast on the right-hand side that had a successful race last time, so they run a little bit of extra weight to try and slow them down and make it a bit more even for the others this time. Now, what happened to Ollie Moss? Because he was higher up a second ago, and now his name's disappeared. He's just dropped down from P5 to P12, so still in the points, but he was running 5th, so something definitely happened there. Another good one for our Dutch driver, Bart, there, in P6 at the moment in the Mercedes. So a couple of Mercedes in the top 6, but yeah, nice mix of manufacturers in the top there. So we've seen quite a bit from outside. Let's have a little look inside somebody's car, potentially someone following someone, so we can get a real look for the spray. But yeah, do let us know in chat who you were watching and what you want to see.
Yeah, Warren did actually ask at the start. We're always a little bit busy at the start before to run through because of timings. But can we have a run through of deliveries? Mackenzie, you're probably slightly better at them because you spend more time looking at them than what I do. So I'll hand that responsibility over to you at some point over this. But I think what we'll do is we'll work our way through them as we go through the race rather than doing them all in one. Is probably a good tack to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we've got then Lewis that we're on board with the minute, less than a second behind Bjorkman in P2 as we come into. You just see this car appear through the spray, don't you? But yeah, we will run through and have a little look at some liveries in a second. But I think it's just interesting for everyone to see, you know, from in car, this is what the guys are seeing. I think a good thing to try and do as you watch this, if you're watching along, try and pick out some of the curbs, try and pick out some of the braking markers that you see on the outsides of the track. And imagine that you're trying to hit that accurately, you know, before you come into the corner. So inside curb here, if you look for it, it's only when you start to get really close that you can kind of pick out those finer details, particularly when there's spray kicking up like it is. We run down the famous Craner curves here, very fast section. Sounds pretty fast still. I'm trying to pick up if they're lifting or not, but again, my hotel Wi-Fi is doing its best just to generate an image for me at the moment.
Yeah, for anyone that hasn't actually driven Donington, Craner curves is usually flat, isn't it? I mean, it's a scary flat, but once you do it flat, you realise that actually, especially with aero on, it's kind of like the only way to take that corner successfully, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and that's the weird thing about having downforce and aero, like you say. So sometimes you have to go faster to generate more grip, which just sounds alien. So imagine you're driving a car, it starts to slide, and next time round you need to go faster to fix the problem. You know, it takes a certain type of mentality to be able to do that. Pretty sketchy at times watching this lap on board. I don't know if you've seen, but very close to going into the back of Bjorkman, coming into Melbourne hairpin there, but gets it stopped then. So again, nice control there just to get that car stopped right at the last second for Lewis Dykes. Still running very well in P3 at the moment then in his first race with us. Harry, though, doing a good job. He's extended that gap to 3 seconds, I can see out front, or 3.5 in fact. So nice little job there by our InGear Motorsport driver after very minimal testing. So yeah, definitely the hungover trick's doing its job so far.
Yeah, just looking here, so Lewis Edwards, that is, has done a hell of a lot by the sounds of it. So yeah, playing it cool in the Discord chat earlier on, I think very much. But yeah, he's done some coaching, and yeah, he's very much on the pace, which we've seen already, which is great, isn't it? might have lost Mackenzie there for a second. Benny, can you hear him in your ear?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. Just cutting in and out a little bit. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I won't mute you.
Yeah, you actually have the luxury of being able to do that tonight, where I'm not sat next to you.
I feel like I'm in the chair of power, like put your helmet on the floor, mine's been boosted back up to next to me. Just living my best life right here. Can we just jump on to Mr. Heath Keith here? So P11 for us. So that's car number 38 that we're looking at here. He's on the back of Curran at the moment. So there's this fight between 10th, 11th and 12th, and you could say and 13th as well. So we've got Curran, Heath, Moss and Price. And actually, Corbin, French, there's a massive, go on Mackenzie, it's time. There's a massive train going along.
Oh, choo-choo, everyone.
So, really good shot there. Ooh, and Heath is looking like he's going to go for the undercut there. Ooh. That, little bit tight there between Curran and Heath.
Yeah, it's looking very close, isn't it?
Going on to the start-finish straight there. Yeah, I think that was probably, you could put that one down to a racing incident in all honesty, but...
My stream, thanks to the wonders of the internet here, froze for a second. So was that going into the last hairpin?
Yeah.
Cool. Looks like they're both still running though, and both in points.
Yeah, I think actually Heath is, sorry to interrupt there, Mackenzie, I think Heath actually gave Curran that position back, so he's on the back of Curran now and just got to get, draw that gap in a little bit there. So again, this is what we like about this this championship. Everyone, we have the odd random little firework, don't we? But yeah, most people are pretty fair and sensible when it comes to it.
Yeah, and they're a really good bunch, and like you saw with Heath there, most of the time if they know they've done wrong or messed up, they'll just give the space back like that. So yeah, good sportsmanship by Kirk Heath there as always. If anyone's watching and wants to get involved, then yeah, we do have guest slots available for these races still. Just a few slots remaining at each race, it seems, for anyone that wants to join in last minute. But we also run regular fun races as well. So best place to go is to the InGear Motorsport Discord, and you can get involved and come and join some racing with some drivers of a similar skill level usually, because we have a real mix from front to back. It's one of the things we're quite pleased about or proud about, is that we do offer racing to all drivers pretty much. Particularly the fun races, everyone just kind of get involved in a nice informal fun way, usually with some loud chats going on in Discord for those, so Charmin or someone screaming in your ear the whole race.
Yeah. Can we just go and check in on the cameras then between Bjorkman? I'm just trying to have a look on my, just to see where he is. So still in the same position between Bjorkman and Dykes, but it does look like there was a little bit of contact there. We're just getting fed through that to us, so we'll probably have a little look at that just to see. But again, they're both still running back in the same position, so not, clearly not too disastrous with that one. Okay. Right, okay, so we're going to play a replay in a minute then, and it's actually showing us how Melvin got into the lead. So we can't give full credit then to his hungoverness. It was actually because there was contact between Bjorkman and Dykes. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's jump to that then, so we can have a quick look at the replay, and then we'll jump back to the action in a second. We'll try and pick up on some of the sort of mid to back grid as well and see how they're getting on.
Yeah, I just actually had a little check-in on Neil, and as I did, he was on the grass there, so commentators cursed before I could even speak there, I think, with that one. So having a little bit of that on there.
So yeah, this is a replay then showing the the incident that gave Melvin the lead, as we say. So still waiting for it to pop up my end. Again, apologies. I'm trying to work with the Wi-Fi that I've got for myself this evening. As I see another car going off screen on the, yeah, I think that might be.
Yes, right. My replays are coming through at the same time.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you can see there that Dykes is kind of, it wasn't hard contact, but yeah, he hit the back of Bjorkman enough to make Bjorkman spin. It was one of them where he hit just at the wrong place on the car, just enough to pivot it around. And yeah, obviously Harry's seen the opportunity, and actually looking at it from the in-car angle.
Yeah, it was actually Bjork probably come off worse from that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing when you have the spray. We said it, didn't we? I mean, Harry's just kind of come into that, had nowhere to go, and yeah, by the time he's got to it's already happened.
I was going to say though, Dykes was already on Bjorkman's bumper, like into it. It's just that, yeah, like you say, Harry had nowhere to stop, so actually made what can you do at that point? You know, they were both sitting ducks, so yeah, I think that one's a bit of a racing incident, isn't it? So
yeah, a bit of a tricky one.
Talking of the race leader then, let's head back to him. So let's give him a little bit of glory. I think it's always nice to shine the light on the InGear Motorsport drivers when they're doing so well. And fingers crossed we're not going to do commentators curse here. Oh!
Did we? My screen, stop that, my screen went off.
Sorry, the Lamborghini of Easter there just kind of spun across Harry. Oh, that was pure luck. I don't think we can put that as a skill. That was just pure luck of missing that. So this is where we start to get into the territory of back markers, and this is where it's a difficult one. Back markers just need to get out of the way, but not slow the car down so much that it's going to start to cause issues. So this is going to become a little bit of a challenge there. So the pit window. Am I right in saying that the pit window is going to be open now? We've got 36 minutes of the race left. And okay, so we've got a couple of minutes to go. So Dykes has actually just pitted there, and the pit window isn't currently open. So we'll start to see him fall back down through the grid there. So I wonder why he's come in.
I mean, he might have had damage, miscalculated his fuel, all sorts of reasons. But yeah, that's not ideal then for him after such a strong start. But it does mean we might see him coming back, not sure.
Yeah.
As Harry goes past another lapped car there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it gives Bjorkman a little bit of space, because he's had a little bit of a tough one so far, hasn't he? He's done really well to stay in the position that he is. So he can kind of have a couple of laps, hopefully, of just being able to breathe, which is always an important one, just to kind of settle back into the rhythm of things. I haven't spoken much to these guys in Discord over the week, but have you heard anything, Mackenzie, about any strategies, what's going to happen with the pits? We know that the race was pretty much won by strategy last round, so I'm just trying to go back in my head, last round. So have you heard anything?
Yeah, well, it's Dom Stallman who normally aces the pit stops, isn't it? Currently sitting pretty in P3, albeit a little bit of a gap back. That doesn't look like a big enough gap that it's because he pitted. I think he probably just has dropped that. But yeah, I don't particularly know anything on strategy front this time around. I've not had a chance to talk to people a great deal over the last few days. Normally try and jump in the night before, a couple of nights before, but I've been away. So yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm guessing as much as everyone else, which is fun for tonight, to see what everyone does. But you know, wet weather, it's probably not going to be a case of changing tyres, which is sometimes worth doing when it's dry, because the speed that you lose through the tyres wearing out, particularly if you flat spot them or something like that, it's worth just putting a new set of tyres on and having a longer pit stop. But in the rain, chances are, especially with how wet it is, they're not going to wear them out that fast. So it's probably going to be a splash and go for most of them. And the reason we're talking about it is because every driver has to stop once within the pit window as per the rules in the Discord. So I think that might be what's caught Lewis out tonight, sadly, but we shall see. I mean, he might. No, I don't think he would have just made it unless he's stayed in the pits for a very long time or something. But yeah, they have to stop once. Now you can see next to their names on the bottom left, there is a little number 1 in an orange box. That shows us that they still need to do one pit stop. And then once that goes green, you know they've pitted. So that's a good way for you watching to know who has and who hasn't pitted. Bar up into P4 then now after that little incident with Lewis, whatever happened, and we'll try and find out that later on and see if we can figure out what's happened. But as we say, we can post a lot of this stuff over on socials as well. So if you want to check us out on Instagram or Facebook, there's an InGear page over there. then we'll be posting replays and things, and George in the background is helping with that. So if you miss anything or you want to catch some of the action again, that's the best place to look.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having
Warren said about having a little look at liveries, didn't he?
Probably a good time to do that now, because I'm just having a look here and everything seems to have settled down ever so slightly. The only thing is, can we just drop onto Heath for me, Ben, in the background? So he's in P12 at the moment. So he was 3 tenths off. He's just dropped to 8 tenths off of the car, but let's check him and see how he's doing anyway. Always nice to see what he's up to. And again, managed to claw himself up a good amount of positions as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, Warren will be pleased in the background.
Yeah, probably a good time to mention driver of the day.
Yeah, it's about that sort of time. I'm always happy to start it sort of just before midway. So, yes, everyone watching in chat then, this is your time to help your drivers that you're supporting. All you need to do is type their name in the chat box of where you're watching. So whether that is Twitch, Facebook or YouTube, just type the driver's name. You can only vote once per person, but the driver with the most votes then gets an extra championship point. And as we always say, those additional points, I just saw Dom Stallman reverse briefly before he drove off, which was unusual. But yeah, those last little points can make all the difference sometimes. So 30 minutes left of this race, and plenty to play for still, I'd say, and very close at the front end still, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's just actually come into the pits there, and yeah, that was pretty much a splash and dash for him in there. So that's clearly the way he's going. So a few people have done their pits. We've still got a couple more more than a couple more to go through. Important not to miss the pit window, because is it a 30-second penalty that they get?
Well, I think Ian, who's watching in YouTube, had that issue, didn't he?
Oh dear.
Was you going to say it, or was you going to let him off?
No. I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, no, I think he just missed that window last week, and like you say, and the problem is, it's one of those rules where, especially, I mean, the game has no sympathy. The game just kind of goes, you're 1 second, one way or the other, that's it.
To be fair, I don't know a real life championship that has any sympathy.
No.
Funny enough, I found my old in-car footage from when I was racing at Donington, so it was actually nice to go through it the other evening. And you can see me, we were so OCD with the pit stops. We had like 2 timers in the car. We had someone at the start of the pit stop, someone at the end of the pit stop. So if we was running too fast or too slow, we literally had someone, and obviously we had in-car radio making sure that we was running the whole way through, because Donington was my first race of an hour-and-a-half race on my own. So a lot to contend with that, and it also had a fuel stop, but of course it's unlike racing, like we had to get out of the cars for the fuel stop as well from the safety side of things and get back in. So yeah, it was good to see.
Yeah, which could be a little bit of a pain, can't it? I can see a couple of votes come in on YouTube straight away, so that's driver of the day votes I can see. As we get officially leaders halfway through the race now, as we see, I think that might be Eisner letting people through, or is it oh yeah, coming into the pits in the background there, and that Ferrari for E-Team Brit. Not showing a huge amount of them, but we'll jump to them in a minute. So I can see between 2 for Eisner. Martin's voted number 289. Very nice. You've got the number as well. So we've got a couple of votes coming in over on YouTube at the minute. Do keep them coming. And
I actually thought that was my dad using YouTube. When you just said that, when you said Martin, I was like, what, my dad's using YouTube? He usually just WhatsApps me what he wants instead.
Martin's from Liz that it's Hamish's birthday as well.
Yeah, that's a very good reason. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe he can get a nice point for his birthday, so that'll be a present.
So where?
See Martin trying to sneak another vote in there for Phil. One per person. Yeah, maybe I'll see if Paulina comes in and votes for Danny Price. Although actually she had a habit of voting for other people for a while anyway, didn't she?
That was good though, because she had unbiased opinion.
Yeah, that is always good. How is the Sheba crew getting on, actually? Should we have a little check out of that?
Yeah, I was just watching. I was actually just checking in on them. So Neil and John are together, P19 and P20. Danny's in P15, and I'm just trying to find Murray. He's in P18. So they're all pretty close in terms of positions together. And this is a big train. There's pretty much a train running from like P13 down to like P19, 20. So a little bit split up at the moment because of the pit stops, but it was fairly close until then.
I just heard in my ear someone pitted, but I didn't catch.
Cool.
So Harry Melvin still yet to pit. Bjorkman has.
Shall we drop the camera actually to Harry just to see?
So a lot of the top boys.
Yeah. Can we quickly put the camera onto him? Let's just see what Harry's gonna do.
Another vote just rolled in for Eisner there. So birthday boy gets another vote in the YouTube chat. Well done to Hamish's friends, fans, family there, because you're rallying the troops well.
Bjorkman's fairly good with his pit strategies, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just looking at the gap, 33 seconds from Harry to Bjorkman. Definitely be worth seeing when Harry does come in. In fact, it's got to be very soon. I can't quite make out the time that's left with my
There's 2 minutes left.
Here, but yeah, so he's going to have to do that very, very soon. As he's coming towards the end of a lap now. In fact, it might even have to be this lap. Or he could get away with it, but it'll be close if he doesn't. It's to the point that if he doesn't and then he has a minor off of some sort, he could potentially miss the window. Back marker getting out of the way nicely there. That is Sharman, I believe.
Okay, so Harry is now in. So let's keep the camera of him while he's in the pit lane. Let's see what he's up to. Max Spooner's been in for a little while. You can see there he's driven past him to Team Ebrit guys, as it looks like he's driving through wood there. It's not quite how it is.
There goes Spooner away.
Spooner's out, yeah.
And that's Hamish in the Lamborghini just going out on your screens, everyone.
Oh, quite a short one from Melvin, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, you know. I think he actually put fuel in there. So this is where they rejoin onto a live track. It's not the easiest thing to do. And Bjorkman gets through then. Bjorkman takes the lead away from Harry there. So that's the Audi with the blue wing mirrors, just takes the lead. So once again, pit stops have created a change of the lead. But that was a nice job getting back on the track there, because coming out onto a live track in the rain at Donington, you're kind of just thrown into it out the pit exit.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most precarious kind of, that and Brands Hatch going straight into Paddock Hill Bend if you're getting into the mix of it.
And that's, again, Hamish in the Lamborghini in the background there. And Harry not hanging around.
Straight under Bjorkman there.
He did not like giving up that lead, did he?
That's how you do it. Just get it done.
And the thing is as well, you want to be the lead car in this sort of condition, because otherwise you have a face full of spray to deal with. So Harry probably with his hangover there, just thinking the easier option is to get in front so he doesn't have to try and concentrate through the spray and just see the clear road ahead. But yeah, nice job so far.
Right, let's have a look then. So the pit window is now closed. Has everyone gone through? It's looking like everyone has.
Probably have a little look where Lewis Dykes ended up after his pit stop earlier on, or if he continued after that or not. He might have ended up in a bit of a battleground. And we were going to look in on the Sheba guys. I know you had a bit of a look earlier, but the stream end, if we...
Yeah, it looks like we've lost... Sorry.
Yeah,
it looks like we've lost Lewis.
Interesting. Maybe when he realised he messed up the stop or something, I don't know. Or something happened, went wrong. Well, if Lewis's manager is still in the YouTube chat, then do let us know what happened, if you know.
Oh no, sorry, I take that back. He's currently in no, okay, sorry, I'm looking at D Lewis, not Lewis Dyke. So yeah,
wrong Lewis.
Yeah.
I can see Ian's responded as well.
Oh no.
He wants lessons from Bjorkman, but not lessons from Harry. I mean, Harry's lessons will be easy, and all you need to do is just pour more gin and tonic.
That would be like having a lesson with you, Mackenzie. I'm sure that's going to happen now.
Double the measure.
Now life is allowed to happen again.
I mean, you never guess who Warren Heath's voted for. He's voted for Kirk Heath. But you know what, Warren? I think you win the most consistent voter award because you're always there. So thank you very much.
Kurt Keefe for driver today, Charlotte's votes 30. I'm always really biased towards Heath, aren't I? Because he has got my race number. We have had the discussion about this as well between me and Heath. Is what are we going to do if I enter a race? But I think I can't.
Didn't even try.
No, I couldn't take that away from him. That is his number. I'll go with yeah. I'll think about it.
Just noticed a bit delayed, but Raven followed over on YouTube as well. So thank you very much for following or subscribing.
Yeah, we've put Bradley here. So, so he's gone for Buchan. Let's see where Buchan is listed actually, because so he's currently in P9 at the moment. So yeah, he actually qualified quite far down the grid, didn't he? So he's made really good progress. Did he, or am I going crazy?
I just saw Cohen voted for himself as driver of the day on Facebook, but that was 40 minutes ago. So don't know if that was just before the race started.
Smooth.
Ian's on his second G&T. There you go. Look, I bet you'll be half a second faster now, Ian.
Ian needs to come and be an InGear Motorsport driver. Then that's the interview. Done and dusted. Right, let's have a look here then. Let's take a look towards the middle of the pack. Shall we head down to Ollie Moss? So he was last race evening's race winner. Brilliant drive by Ollie, actually. So, oh, okay. He's in the pits. Every time I say let's go to a car, they're either spinning or in the pits, aren't they?
Ian said pit stop lessons from Bjorkman and driving lessons from Harry. Yeah, good work. Or what about Sheba Garage? I keep saying it, and then we don't drop down to them. So see,
yeah,
I know Neil had a bit of wars earlier.
Let's go to the kids.
There we go. So just updated by end as well.
2x2, Noah's Ark as normal.
As we see John going a little bit wide there at the last corner, following the E-Team Brit car.
John's actually done very well with this, hasn't he? Because Kid's been sim racing for a lot longer from what I know than John. He was kind of waiting for his setup and things like that, wasn't he? So fairly close to match quite quickly, aren't they? So I wonder how competitive that gets in the Kid household.
I'm sure Neil would say that he doesn't practice as much or something like that these days. But yeah, no, you're right. As we see John going off track a little bit again there, just cutting the grass on the outside at Donington there, at the bottom of Craner. But no, looking all right, looking pretty planted there in the Aston. Of course, the Sheba Garage dog on the side, Harambe. You just see that on the side of the liveries. Always like to point that one out. It's one of the things that we do in this league. If anyone's for those that are joining new, is people can make their own liveries and own designs for the cars. So that in itself. Might have to start doing a little voting poll in Discord for something like that, perhaps for a final point for the team that has the best livery or best voted livery. I could see, because I know they spend a lot of time on it.
You could do it as like the end of the series, like final points or something like that, going into the last round or something.
Yeah, just give them a little extra.
We'll have to do it. Yeah, we'll have to do a vote on that one.
Well,
okay, let's.
Although he might be biased and pick his own face.
Sorry, what was that you cut out?
Just say maybe the race director could do that, but then he might be biased and pick the car with his face on the roof.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So where are we then? Where are the close gaps?
Into P10.
Let's. Can we jump on with Curran, or actually, can we do? Jump on with Corbin in P5 for me, and then hopefully we'll have a good view there between the battle between him and Curran. So again, Curran's made really good progress through this and managed to jump up a few spaces during the pit stop window, because I think he was running in about P9, P10. So
how about
good job done by him there. Yeah, you're a fan of that view.
Yeah, bonnet cam for Corbin. There we are. Look at that. Gives you a lovely view of the track. You can just see how wet it is then as well. Corbin was doing some nice big skids at Silverstone last time round in his Nissan there. But good race for him running P5. Currently the first of the E-Team Brit cars, of which there are 3 kind of teams of. So a few of those drivers, good to have them in as well. We've seen a couple of them with Max Spooner and Hamish, who's currently winning the Driver of the Day vote, although I need to keep checking YouTube chat, because I've been looking at others as well.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye. I need my post-it notes out to
yeah, we'll do a final
record
tally
these.
up
Maybe
later.
maybe someone in the background to be able to look at that for us.
Yeah, good sign though, isn't it? More and more people coming on to vote. So yeah, rally the troops, rally the family, get them on to vote for your favourite driver, and as we say, they get an extra point. So that's what we're referring to there.
Yeah.
They just have to type their name in chat.
Can we, if we just drop out to a wider view now, just so we can see this train of cars start to form. So it's all still fairly close now. We've got some back markers that we're going to have to start contending with. So have to keep an eye on that. However, the train between Curran and Corbin, Roland Stallman, we haven't actually spoken about Roland too much, again, making good progress. So he's always really good at getting the points in, isn't he? Just very, very consistent every sort of race. I always say race weekend or race evening.
What's a habit? It's what it normally is, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Like years of race weekends to a race Tuesday doesn't seem quite right, but hey ho. So they're all fairly close again. We've been running now for a good amount of time. We've only got 16 minutes worth of racing. I think this format seems to be working really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I always like it. I think the pit stops really help a lot. Just bring it to life a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was Neil Kidd just running a little bit wide there, but I think he was just trying to move out of the way to let the guys through. So Corbin, Curran and Stallman through there. So kind of nice work by Kidd there. And I think, again, yeah, it all seems to be fairly good with the blue flags and the back markers this round. And again, it does take a couple of rounds for a new championship to settle in, doesn't it? And people to find their feet.
Yeah, definitely. And also just figure out how different drivers race, how they like to battle with each other. Something that we kind of started to mention earlier on, but a lot of these guys, particularly the teammates, are in the same chats together. In our Discord, they have like their own boxes essentially, or pit boxes they can discuss and chat about things in. Some of them actually go in like a communal one, a group general chat, and they can then kind of call that, you know, I'm on your inside, I'm on your outside, or what have you, if it's a driver that they know is near them. So they all help each other out quite a bit that way as well. Bart up into P3. Shouldn't forget that one. So we've got Spearhead Engineering in P3 with Bart there, in P4 with Curran, and P7 with Mitchell. So Spearhead having a really strong race. Well, no, sorry, and Bjorkman in P2. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
See someone moving out of the way a little bit there. How's Sharman doing? We should can we briefly check in with Sharman?
Yeah.
P25 at the minute, having a battle with current Driver of the Day vote winner, Hamish Easner, car number 30 in the Lamborghini. As you see in the background there, I think that's Arnold Das battling as Liam gets a little bit wide on the way out of that, touches the grass. It just sucks you out. You touch that bit of grass and away you go.
Yeah, it's a scary track to go off as well, because there's not a huge amount of runoff for how fast the track actually is. It's wide in the places where it doesn't necessarily need to be that wide, and the curbs as well, they're not very forgiving curbs even in the dry, because they almost kind of like drop off a little bit and then pull you too wide, so you really have to be cautious with that side of things.
Yeah, just seeing Dominic Stallman in the blue Aston Martin coming through to lap Liam there, so nicely letting him through, not causing any dramas. In the BMW, not sure how the BMW is around here. It's not really heard too much one way or the other, whereas the other cars you hear are kind of a bit of a mix. Mercedes is not too bad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've got Mercedes, Audi, Nissan. So yeah, clearly Mercedes and Audi are the strong two cars. It is really nice to see such a mix of cars though in this championship this time round.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so easy to have, you know, everyone in one car, but I think that's actually a good testament to the game in a way. There isn't one, you know, clear car that you should have at every track, which is actually, you know, easier said than done as a game developer to manage. So they work really hard with the what we call the BOP, or the balance of performance, and it follows very closely with the real world series. So, you know, if they slow a car down in the real world, then the game will issue an update usually to slow the car down in game as well, if it starts getting a bit too fast and unfair. So it's nicely handled in that sense. And it means you get a mix like this, and they all have their own little strengths and weaknesses. So it works out really well. As you see, Liam having a little bit of a look there.
Can we just jump onto rear cam of Roland? Yeah, Roland Stallman for me. Sorry, I was just checking that we've got the right thing there, because Buchan's all over the back of him there, looking very, very racy, like he's going to go for a move. So nice to see it from a slightly different camera angle there, as he looks to go up the inside as they go down the start-finish straight. So who is going to yield here? And I think, yeah, Roland's just got the edge. Yeah, just got the edge there going in, hasn't he, to turn one.
Even that, I was going to say, just knowing to go.
Sorry, as Roland. Oh, what a bummer, as he runs a little bit wide there, and he's also let Mitchell through with that mistake as well.
Yeah, good driving by Mitchell to not hit Roland there as he come back on. Actually, what ended Mitchell's race last time at Silverstone was when Murray rejoined into the side of him. So I had a bit of a flashback then that might happen again, but luckily it didn't. So Mitchell going really well. 7th in this strong grid that we've got is pretty impressive. And in fact, is that Curran now in P4, P3? So we've got a couple of Scots now inside the top 10. So yeah, there's usually a Scot somewhere in the top 10 in the rain, isn't there? Their natural habitat. I'm sure they won't mind me saying.
Yeah.
Although there's been all sorts of wild weather all over the country at the moment.
Thunderstorm. I thought the roof was going to come off this morning. Okay. Yeah, Stallman's recovered quite well from that, hasn't he? He hasn't lost too much time there, so he'll be trying to rein Mitchell back in there. And actually, Don Stallman has dropped behind Roland, so we missed that. So we've now got the two Stallmans together, so the father-son duo there with Roland up front and up ahead. Wonder what happened to Dom.
Yeah, there. I know Dom was coming through some traffic, so I'm hoping it wasn't that, but it may well be a blue flag.
Yeah.
Blue flag incident. He was around. He got past Sharman okay, so perhaps beyond that he had a couple of issues, but yeah, still solid points for Vegas Informants in P8 and P9, but yeah, Dom's definitely lost a few there. But you can see the blue flag still flying. So just as the race is getting really tense, and you're trying to get those last points and fight to be as high as you can, you've also got back markers to contend with, which is a whole other thing to deal with. The main rule is that the car being overtaken doesn't do anything unpredictable, more or less holds their line, but also doesn't defend, basically maybe goes a bit wider or something to let a car go past, but generally holds the line. The car passing should then pass where it's safe to do so.
Yeah, and it's going to get challenging now. They're well over 3/4 of the way through this race, so only got 10 minutes to go. Tyres are going to start to, you're going to start to feel the tyres drop off. Arguably, probably not so much with wets as you would with slicks, but the track is only 16 degrees out there and the outside temperature is 12 degrees, so it's not warm at all. So these guys are going to be, they're fighting against the elements a little bit here, aren't they, to actually keep temperature in the tyres.
Yeah, and the colder they get, the harder it gets. You're right. So these track conditions are brutal, really. And when you've been out racing for longer, unless you've been really working them hard, they will just get colder and colder. So that's also something to consider, and perhaps why we've seen towards the front end. We're not on some of them if it was their fault or not, but we've certainly seen some drivers have mistakes or something happen to lose position, as we see a whole gaggle of cars going into turn one at Redgate all at once there. So that's now, I think some of that is going to be traffic again for the Stallmans to try and contend with. So yeah, in fact that Aston Martin just in front is one of them. I'm not sure if that's Arnold Dash or not. Again, it's hard to see from my
it's Kidd.
My stream tonight.
Yeah, so we've got John Kidd and Tyler that they're going to have to come up against. So John will be fine. Tyler, I think, will also be the quite experienced drivers, Team Ebert and John Kidd, done a lot of these races before. So hopefully there'll be nothing too dramatic there. As Don Stallman is starting to make a move there. So Don Stallman's got the orange details on the wing mirrors, and Roland has got the green.
Roland didn't give him that, did he? Roland didn't just roll over for that one.
Okay, so let's see what happens as we go into the S's. I think Don Stallman is a little bit too far back there to make a move. So is he going to make a move as we go into the hairpin at the bottom here? And he's thinking about it, isn't he? But he kind of thought better of that one. So he's going to now try and tee him up going into the last hairpin. This is where it's difficult with this part of the track. So if you get too eager, then
and this stage of the race.
Well, yeah. Bearing in mind they've got two, so as they come into Redgate at the end of the pit straight here, they've got two back markers that they need to get in. Don Stallman's really starting to weave around now. He's trying to get in Roland's mirrors, which is good to see. We don't usually see this happen between these two, do we? So Kid and Tyler are having a battle within themselves. So the blue flags are being waved at them. So they are going to have to think about how they're going to manage this one now. Because the blue flags have been waved at them for quite a few corners.
Yeah, and Roland's obviously trying to fend off Dom at the same time. So he's
Tyler's
to
trying to fend off Kid, and Stallman's trying to fend off Stallman. So, I mean, Kid's driving very defensively going in there. We just see Hamish, I think that is, just off in the gravel, and it looks like he was a bit stuck in the gravel there in the background, which is not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sat on the edge of my seat here trying to think what's going to happen between these guys.
Okay, so Arnold just pulled over in that Aston Martin really well. So well done to the back markers there for that. That was really good driving. So Mitchell and Arnold Ast. Yeah, it's this battle between Kid and Tyler. They're just not moving out of the way, are they?
I mean, it doesn't look like Roland's got a whole handful of pace on.
No, this is where it's tricky. I mean, Kid is driving defensively now. I understand why, but this is...
Oh, and Dom loses the rear end. I think that was all just by his own accord. I didn't see anyone.
Yeah, I think so. It didn't look like anyone did.
And there's Stuart French coming in. Yeah, that was. I just heard it. So Dom Stallman, very unusual there, makes a bit of a mistake, lights the rear wheels up a bit too quick, and finds himself facing the wrong way. Gets going again and is still going in P9, but he's now got French all over the back of him.
Yeah, sorry, Ben, can we just get the camera back on to Roland Stallman, please, just as they go into Redgate. So Roland's just managed to get underneath the back of John Kidd, so well done to John there, because he has actually just lost out a little bit to Tyler on that by letting Stallman through, but, you know, kind of difficult position for Kidd to be in there, or John Kidd to be in. Yeah. So Stallman's picked him off. Now, hopefully what this will do is back Tyler up a little bit as the blue flags are being waved there to kind of bring this Tyler Kidd battle back together again.
Yeah, and once Stallman has to go past Corbin, you know, that will then... Well, he's not actually racing with... he is racing against Corbin, so Kidd was just a bit caught out there.
Yeah. Kidd just needs to latch onto the back of Stallman and almost let him pull him through, you know, getting his toe.
Yeah, definitely. Here might be a possible incident higher up with Melvin and...
I'll have a look. Keep it. If we keep the camera on these two at the moment, I'll just quickly, in my side of this, try and jump.
It looks like Roland gets through on Corbin there. No, that's not Corbin though. That's another E-Team Brit driver a bit further down. Again, apologies for just joining. I'm on hotel Wi-Fi tonight, trying to see as best I can.
Yeah, no. So I'm having a look my end. So you guys are currently looking at Roland Stallman, who has now got past Mitchell. So Mitchell, it's now this battle between Roland Stallman and Corbin that's going to come up. Trying to work out what's happened between Melvin and Bjorkman though. So Harry's still currently running in P1, and Bjorkman is now 6 seconds off of him, and there was only literally a second between those two. So clearly something's happened somewhere, and actually Melvin's just pulled into the pits. So I'm not too sure what's happening next. He's clearly got damage or something, or has he got a drive-through pen? Yeah, he's got a drive-through. He hasn't got a drive-through penalty. I'm just trying to see. I'm just watching him in the pits.
Maybe so potentially messed up on fuel or something like that.
Either way, that doesn't explain why Bjorkman dropped 6 seconds off. So we'll have a look at that. So yeah, he's just had a splash and dash, and he's back out onto the pit. So he's handed that over to Bjorkman, that win, or currently P1 going on there. Sorry, George, I keep talking over you in my ear. What was you going to say to us?
Right, okay, so for everyone else's benefit, yeah. Basically, Bjorkman went for a move on Harry, it didn't quite come off, and then they both ended up spinning, going off track, ultimately. So, obviously, yeah, replay will be available for that very shortly. We've got 2 minutes 40 seconds till the end of this race. I did see we've got a Max Spooner fan cheering on Max, Larissa in chat, so sorry I missed that a minute ago, but yes, good to see you in there as well. Welcome along. I just see we had a vote for Ben Corbin before as well, in amongst all that. Bucking also got a vote. So yeah, there's been a few others roll in, but it's still Eisner that's got the most driver of the day votes at the moment on his birthday, which is quite fitting. So
yeah, that's
nice job to him.
Yeah, definitely. Should we just pull up, going into the last couple of minutes, should we just pull up where we currently sit with the overall standings? So we've got Bjorkman in P1, Melvin in P2, so after that little race incident, and then he had to go into the pits to just have a splash of fuel. Bart is currently running in P3, so he's done really well, hasn't he? He's just kind of let it all unfold around him, and he'll take home good points for that. Curran has done the same thing, and I called that actually earlier on.
Yeah, it's a good race, isn't it?
Yeah,
good race for
he
him.
Always does really steady with that. Heath has done really well. He started in P16, I think he was. So he's managed to drag himself back up to P11. So he's in the points along with Danny Price, which is really nice to see that he's had a good race. So he's in P10, and then Don Stallman is taking the last of the points. That's not often that we see that happen, is it?
No, it just goes to show, though, that even on his bad races, he still scores points. You know, or so he would if he finishes at the minute. With ballast as well, let's not forget. You know, that doesn't help you at all, especially in this sort of conditions.
No, and we've lost a couple of drivers, so we've still got 26 drivers after nearly an hour of racing as we go into the final minute of having a look. So I'm just trying to see if there's any really close battles forming, and there's not. So I mean, Harry's 28 seconds off of Bjorkman now, so don't want to tempt fate or anything, but
yeah, leaders on the final lap. So
yeah, should we stick
Mr.
with
Robert
him?
Bjorkman, after missing the last race, looking like it's all kind of fell into place for him on this one.
Yeah, I was just having a look at him. Ollie has dropped out from what I can see.
Shane Couture's looking like he's in points as well.
Yeah, and this is where this hurts championships, though, when people just drop out and don't get through to the end. He's now going to have to use this as his drop round, so he can't have any mistakes. And this is quite a long championship, this one as well. Quite early in the championship to have drop round. Same with Chrissy as well, so you know why he's not here. So fingers crossed he'll be better and back with us next time.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's consistency that wins championships, and the drivers that stick it out and get those solid points in. So I think perhaps we ride on board with our race leader, shall we, for the final few parts of the lap for him as he comes into the Fogarty S's. There was Sharman getting nicely out of the way. I think he might have even lost the rear end in doing so.
I love that corner, but I hate the next hairpin.
It's slightly breaking downhill, isn't it? So you'll try not to lock up, but the track just runs away from you.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one.
So Swedish driver in the lead, British driver in P2, Dutch driver in P3, Scottish driver in P4, and Scottish driver in P5. So quite a nice little mix there. It was a German driver before, but it's the Swede in the rain, taking to it like a duck to water. Wins round 3 then, Mr. Robert Bjorkman, and fantastic drive for him, and nice return.
Well done for the cheesiest line of the championship so far.
I mean, it's more an ice lake normally that they'll drive around on, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if that was a celebratory spin or I was going to be a donut there or something.
Just relief. In fact, hang on. That was Harry facing the wrong way at the last turn. But still, Oh, but did he get across the line? For God's sake, yeah, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was just like, I just had a moment there of thinking that he didn't get across the line.
Harry Melvin can go no further after that. He's probably off to go and have a nice lay down after last night's antics.
So we've got another vote. I don't know if you picked up on this. We've got another vote for Hamish in here as well. So I don't know if we've got a little tally running, or I need to grab a piece of paper.
Hamish.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Hamish.
Really nice to see, though, that there was a lot of drivers that were in for the shout there. So Phil had a vote. Hamish has had quite a few votes. Easton's had votes. Heath, of course, has had votes, and Ben Corbin as well. So, and Max, I don't think he actually got a vote. He got a come on, Max, but not a driver of the day vote with that.
So just looking at the final finishing order then, before it disappears, or literally as I say that, my stream paused on my end, and it's back again. There we are. So we saw the top three then going down to Bart. Then it was Buckin for E-Team Brit in P4, Curran in P5. That was the order they were in on the last lap. Corbin in P6, Roland Stallman in P7, Mitchell for Spearhead, great result for him in P8. Stuart French, again, another one who was running ballast, got himself solid points finish there in P9. Danny Price for Sheba Garage, so first of the Sheba Garage cars in P10. Mr. Kirk Heath does score points because they go down to 12th, and he is 11th. Dominic Stallman, even on a bad day, as I say, is still scoring points there for Vegas Sim in P12, rounding out the point scorers. We'll publish the full results on our Discord server in the coming days, so you'll be able to check that out there, or some of the main results on social media as well. So we'd love it if you could give us a follow on Instagram and things as well if you're not already.
But we are also subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, do the plug-in, and obviously usual thing, if you've enjoyed this tonight, then it means a lot to us to see subscribers and followers on Twitch and YouTube as well. So yeah, do feel free to do that. But thanks for everyone that's been joining in tonight. If you've got any other little comments for us to read out, I can see them here on my phone back in my hotel room. Welcome. Bit darker than it was earlier. Now it's just my one light that I've managed to bring with me, so you can vaguely see.
Get Chippy take that with you.
Yeah, because it's just a bit flat. But yeah, so just going to have a little look and see what's coming through on Twitch, if anything, and have a little look on. I could just see some messages on Discord already about how on earth did people finish. But yeah, drop any comments through quickly because we'll be heading off shortly. We'll see if we can find out what happened with Harry, and we'll put that up as well. But we'll leave the interview side of it out for the time being.
Yeah. Let's not tempt fate with the internet connection.
Yeah, I'm just about hanging on for dear life here.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, there we are. So we've had pretty solid result by Bjorkman there after missing the last race. So that's exactly what he needed to do tonight. Charlotte, who would you have gone for driver of the day if it wasn't? Of course, it's Hamish that's won it, but just out of interest.
I think there's a few there. I probably would have gone. I think Curran did a really good job just keeping out of trouble. Corbin did as well. Actually, I think Roland Stallman.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah,
result,
yeah. I'd go Stallman. That's not easy to have Dom all like breathing all over the back of you, and he made him work for it. And actually, he's probably one of the only people that I've ever seen that's forced Dom into a mistake. That doesn't happen. So yeah, he took authority on that
one. For anyone that doesn't know, Roland Stallman is Dominic Stallman's father. So yeah, it's normally Dom kind of just comes through and they don't fight too hard. So yeah, I agree. That was good to see. Actually, that was a bit of a highlight. Awesome. Any other closing comments for you then? I think otherwise we'll wrap things up.
I'm all good. I'm going to sit this side of the desk next time, and yeah.
So I'll just book a hotel for every race night.
Right, okay.
Okay, so we'll be back in a couple of weeks, everyone, for the next round. So that'll be round number 4 already out of 7 rounds. So still a little way to go. Might make it a little bit drier next time. Luckily, we can control the weather, so we'll give the drivers a break from the rain. But hope you've all enjoyed that this evening. We'll also be running our fun race next week. So anyone can come and get involved in those that plays the game on PC. So if you're thinking of getting involved, feel free. As it says at the bottom below us, jump into our Discord. It's the best place to go for that. And there is a few other streams here and there popping up on Twitch. Keep an eye out. So I stream things over there as well. But really, that is it. So as always, thank you to everyone who comes and takes part. Thank you to everyone that comes and comments and pops comments in the chat and takes part in the Driver of the Day vote. It's always nice for us to see people in there to talk to. And thanks to Ben and George in the background for helping as well, and to our other admins in Discord. So yeah, thanks everyone. That's it for me, and we will see you soon. Ain't shitty, baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son. There we go, green lights, and we're off once again.